I think Sifuna has a clarification. Proceed, Sifuna. Senator Sifuna.
So, Speaker, I think the frustration we have had as a family of devolution, and you can hear even the frustration of the public there, that we have serious problems in the counties, but we just seem to be talking and there's no action. What the Constitution speaks about under Article 225, and we have had this conversation again when the CS has appeared before our County Public Accounts Committee, is that you have the powers as a Cabinet Secretary for Treasury to stop funds going to counties where there is persistent material breaches. Persistent material breaches. We are not talking about small issues like failure to produce documents and the others. And I remember having this conversation with the CS in the committee, and we said for the family of devolution, there are counties that are notorious. Every single time they are getting adverse reports on their financials. What we need for the family of devolution from you, CS, we just want, in fact, we had agreed with you that we do just 10 counties, or even just one. If you just stopped money going to these counties that are persistent material breaches, the rest will follow. I think that is the expectation we have from him as a Senate.
Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to agree with Senator Sifuna. We rarely agree nowadays, but although we used to agree a lot a few months back. So today I want to agree with you that actually that Article 225 was not just put there in vain. But remember, Senator Sifuna, we have discussed this and we have said, let me get a recommendation from the Senate to stop any funds. Because again, you see, as National Treasury, I don't also want to appear in the face of it like a rogue Cabinet Secretary. You know, when you stop funds to a county, it's a major decision. And it has political implications, it has social implications, it has economic implications. So it's not something that I would just do, even if there are material breaches. I would expect the Senate, through the committee where Senator Sifuna, I believe you still sit in the committee chaired by Senator Kajwang. If I get recommendations, even on one county or two, then we will deal with it based on the provisions of the law. I am not afraid to deal with it because it is the resources of the people of Kenya that we are protecting. So I agree. Again, I want to repeat, I agree with Senator for Nairobi. We rarely do nowadays, but this is one of those rare occasions.
Very well. Senator Wambua, what is your intervention?
It's a good thing to hear that the CS is agreeing with Senator Sifuna. But no CS beyond just agreeing with Senator Sifuna. There's a fact that we seem to be running away from. Mr. Speaker, the CS Treasury is perhaps the only CS in the cabinet who has executive powers to manage economic and fiscal policies, of course with parliamentary oversight. The question that I asked about exchequer releases and related to the disbursement schedules that Senator Sifuna talked about, I was expecting a response that provides a way forward. Not a response that says we have improved. Because improve what? What was the improvement? I expect to hear that before we hold the county government of Kitui to account for mismanaging their finances, those finances were made available to them in good time to make financial decisions, to roll out projects, and now you have messed it. The CS, I just said as I conclude, I said that he needs a name. He just needs a letter, communication from the Senate to stop disbursements to a single county as a lesson to others that are misbehaving. Now, Speaker, if my memory serves me right, just a few months ago, Meru was on the table of the Treasury. There was a move against Meru to stop disbursements. And I'm not saying you should, because when you stop disbursements, what it means is that you're punishing the people of that county on account of misdeeds of one individual called a governor. But that matter came before the Treasury. What decision was taken? They said, no, we cannot touch this. So, Speaker, let's not just respond to questions by ticking boxes. Let's give responses, especially from the CS Treasury, with executive power, responses that provide a way forward for devolution and for this country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, again, indeed, I want to agree with Senator Wambua that CS National Treasury has some executive powers, and I thank the people of Kenya for making me that cabinet secretary now, and the president. But again, the power is with the people. Actually, the absolute power is with the people, not even executive, I mean the cabinet secretary. So as you exercise that power that you have, you must exercise it with caution, and you must understand that it has implications. And that is what I'm trying to do, so that later on, I am not accused as one of those cabinet secretaries who sat at the National Treasury and became rogue. Now, regarding, I think we should not mix these two issues. There is the issue of exchequer releases, which is a substantive issue and is a critical one, and the issue of mismanagement of resources at the county. In fact, if money has not been received by counties, it cannot be mismanaged, because they don't have money to mismanage anyway. So we are talking about counties which receive money and they mismanage the money or the funds that they receive. These are the counties that we are saying we need to deal with. And there should be some resolution somehow, somewhere. And yes, we did with Meru. Meru, there was a persistent breach, not just by the county executive, but even by the county assembly, which committed to provide resources to settle a debt that was already creating a diplomatic issue between this country and another country. So I took the action that we did, and that triggered some response. Because before I even took that action, Mr. Speaker, I will tell you, we wrote to the county and there were no response. The moment we took that action, there was quick and immediate response. And so we will deal with any other county which becomes rogue, including Homa Bay County, where I come from, if they decide to mismanage resources that belong to the people, and there is evidence that there are material breaches, persistent, without change, and it is reported to me, and we look at the law, and the law supports the cause of withholding funds, I will do it. And by the way, that power, even though Senator Wambua calls it executive, it is still subjected to the Senate scrutiny and consideration, because the power belongs to the people, and the people have their representatives. They have their mouthpiece. The people of Migori has Eddie Okech to speak for them in this space. I don't have that power. In fact, people have not delegated that power to me. It used to be delegated to me somehow about 2 years ago. Nowadays, I don't have that delegated power anymore. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.